Julie is my lovely Vanna today. She is a student of mine, graduated student of mine here in Ohio. So let's start with our ballet stretches. That's where in your practical evaluation, was where you're gonna start. You're gonna pick one of those ballet stretches to teach. We'll go through them all. Just be aware that when you teach these during the practical evaluation, you will include all of the choreography. That doesn't necessarily happen if you're teaching them with your private client. I don't need all the rigmarole, but you do need it for your test out. So Julie, I'm gonna have her step up. Our ladder barrel has a little platform here for a more petite person. So we'll check her out here. Depending on her leg length, she may stay here or you may go down. So go ahead, turn, face the barrel. Hands will be along the ladder and she'll bring one leg up. It's usually an internal rotation and stepping it up. And for her, this gives her calf support. Her foot is free, feels good. She's able to maintain that position. She's got enough flexibility in her hamstring here. Although it's quivering a little, so maybe it's a little tight.
Maybe.
All right, so choreography. Inhale, bend the knee. I'm sorry. See, this is a good example of be specific about what you want. Inhale, bend the standing knee. Exhale, extend. Inhale, up on the toe. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach both arms up to frame your face. On her exhale, she can round over and reach toward her toe. This could also be taught as a flat back if more appropriate for your client. Inhale, stacks her spine up, reaches the arm out, lifts her breastbone up towards the ceiling to add a little bit of thoracic extension. So go ahead and lift like I'm pulling that breastbone up and then return to start. Good. But if you can return her arms. If I was working with someone, I'd probably, maybe depending if they need to loosen up, I might do the choreography, but other than that, I'm usually cueing either a round or a hinged back. I usually start them in a hinged back, so they're getting a little bit more stretch in the body of the muscle. So if you want to try a hinge back, just so you guys can see, inhale, lengthens, exhale, hinges over, flat back. Try not to get her rounded here, so you bring that. Yep, so keep that a little more flat. So the stretch is probably different, more belly of the muscle, yes? Now she rounds forward, more back, and probably a little bit more distributed through the whole body. All right, and stack that all the way back up. Go ahead and take that foot off. We're gonna turn you and face side. Okay, so side in your manual. One hand is on the ladder, the other leg is coming up, the barrel side leg's coming up and reaching it up and over the barrel, right? Slight turnout for both. She's got a bit of rotation in her pelvis, so let's bring your foot forward slightly. There you go. So she's a little bit more squared off in the pelvis and shoulders. Inhale, bends her standing leg. Exhale, extends. Inhale on the toes, exhale, lowers. Arms out to a T. We've got arm options, over into a mermaid arm, bringing that arm over towards the side, stacking it all the way back up, bringing those arms back to T. Her ladder arm can come down to the ladder. Her opposite arm reaches up and she can side bend that way. She could keep a hand on the ladder, slide the hand down the ladder, whatever makes most sense to her brain. Inhale, stacks it back up and returns to T. That's our full choreography. Great. Go ahead and take a foot off. We then move on to our quads. She's facing the ladder this time. One leg would come back, the top of the foot is against the ladder. And again, they give you a little bit of choreography for this one. Inhale to bend the standing knee, exhale, extend. Inhale on the toe, exhale, lower. And then she can just press back into that foot Kind of bring her hips slightly forward, lengthen through the spine. We can add an arm reach and a little thoracic extension. So she's gonna push her breastbone up and forward and then relax back down. Holding that for however long she'd like to. Arms can come down, foot can come off. We turn her all the way around for glutes and rotators. So it's basically a standing figure 4 stretch. Pick your favorite leg to go, bring that up. She's in that figure 4. Nothing fancy about this one. No choreography that you have to memorize. It's just a set up if they can get there, right? Some people, you might need to put a moon box on underneath them in addition to a platform or whatever you have in order for them to get up here, in which case maybe you're going to try a different place for a figure 4. But I'm trying to line her leg up as best I can, cue her to dorsiflex her ankle to help protect that knee-ankle relationship. We can add a lean forward. Again, a hip hinge will give more stretch into the belly of the muscle. If she rounds over, it gets a little bit more into the low back, stretches a little bit more of the ligament and tendon. So if you have someone who's a little loosey-goosey, probably this is not the choice. The flat back version would be a better stretch for them. Go ahead and take that foot down, and we'll go into adductors. So once again, facing the window there. Brings one foot up onto the barrel. It's a little bit like, hey, sailor. All right. So we're trying to keep her hips as squared as possible. She's got a little bit of counterclockwise rotation, so we're gonna bring that foot forward. Your person could hold here and give a little pull. She could bring her forearm, her elbow in front and add a little push back. In your manual, she's just holding out with those T arms, just a slight lean towards the barrel. So T arms or a little bit of that self-assist to increase the external rotation would be a nice match. All right, and that is our ballet stretches sequence. Now, we go into feet on ladder. You've got quite a choice here. You have to pick one of these. Again, Julie's a little bit more, I'm gonna have her step off briefly. So for these, we want to position the barrel. If you remember, I'm gonna have her step on that far one there, as if she's walking the plank, one foot in front of the other. Her shared feet cover up to 5. So I'm gonna move the barrel to cover the 6. So that's our starting point. It may need to change based on your person. It's kind of a starting place. If she had really long legs or a really long torso, we might have to move from there. But I know she's a little more petite, we're gonna put that platform back on in place. Side bends facing you're gonna get very one-sided treatment here today. So level 1, we can start on the floor, and this is a great place for clients who don't like to be side lying. It bothers their hip. We've got some options here if they're hard to get into a side lying position. Plus a little bit of standing is always good. We can set the legs out like they're walking on a tightrope up against that wooden platform at the base of the ladder. If her ladder leg is forward, she will be more stable. Smaller range of motion in the side bend, but more stable. If she switched her legs so that her ladder barrel leg was back, more unstable. So more unstable, less stability, but greater range of motion. So you pick which one your client needs. I'll cue her to bring her hip right against that barrel. We want it sort of on the side. Arm positioning could be mummy arms, genie arms, forehead, back of the head, arms up straight, T arms. Give them a prop. Sky's the limit. Whatever, I'm gonna ask her to choose what she feels best with. We just need to make sure that the elbows don't get in the way of the barrel. So on her inhale, she'll take it over as far as she can go. And exhale back to this long line. Just like our side overs on the short box. And I'll have her do just a couple there. One more. Excellent. So that's our base version. Then, are you comfortable with your feet on the ladder?
Mhm.
We could take them up to the first rung of the ladder, and again, she can choose, do I want to challenge her stability? Do I want to limit her range of motion? And then we're just going to check that her hip is still on that barrel. Now, if she's up here and she's going, I don't like this, we're going to move the barrel out. And she's indicating, yes, we are moving the barrel out. Let's go one notch. We might need to go two. So go ahead and see what you think. That feel like, yeah, there you go. So she can choose that same, but for kicks and giggles, let's give her a prop. The traditional maple pole. She's gonna bring that pole up so that her bicep frames her face. We're working to keep, now she can see herself in that mirror, so good feedback. I want the distance between her head and arms to stay the same. Inhale takes it over, so that movement's coming just from the waist and back up to that long line. Give me two more as long as you're comfortable with that. And the last one. Great. You can step down. I'll take that pole for you. So that's the textbook exercise. If you wanted to take them back the other side, you certainly could, all right? And just remember, the important thing is ladder side foot forward, more stable, less range of motion. Ladder foot back, less stable, more range of motion. That's key. We move into obliques with flexion. So I'm gonna ask her, again, we could do a floor version or a ladder rung version. What would you?
I can do a ladder version.
All right, so we'll go take her to the full expression. So she's gonna set up, same left, if you're facing that way. You're gonna step up on the ladder. You can get, too bad I don't have cameras in all directions. We can turn you around.
360.
Yeah, all right, so hips against there. So same start position. Traditionally, the hands are behind the head or the forehead, whatever is most comfortable for their shoulder. So she rotates toward the barrel, right? And then bows forward. Now we're trying to get the bow. She's coming all the way from her lumbar spine. She's gonna come back up. You okay?
Yeah, my
And
foot's
come around. What I want her to try, and then she rotates towards the ladder and gives it a little bow, but we want more just thoracic flexion. Think
Okay.
a chest lift, right? And so just a little bow. She's coming back up, rotates to center, rotates all the way to the barrel. Let's try a smaller, I'm gonna give her a little arm there, just to give her a target. Stacks it up, rotates forward, and she can step down. All right? Then we have rotation prone. So now, if you look in your manual, it will say the pelvis is on the apex of the barrel. Rather vague. There's a lot of places. So basically, ASIS, kind of the midpoint, or kind of right between the pubic bone and the ASIS is kind of right at the top, all right, below the belly button. So once again, she's gonna place her hands on the barrel, line herself up, walk her feet up the ladder, keep going. So again, we're gonna check in with her. She can go up one more notch and then slide her feet through here so that her front of her foot is on the opposite side. You feeling okay?
I can.
All right, and it looks like pretty much her hips are right in the center there. Forehead, hands on the forehead, drop down. So I'm gonna spot over here just to keep her comfortable. On your inhale, come up into a neutral spine. Right, exhale, rotate. Inhale, center. Exhale, rotate the other way. Keep your hips evenly weighted. Good, roll back down. Level 1, level 2. Inhale, lengthen that spine to neutral. Exhale, rotate, give a little salute. Push that right hip down with your top arm. Give a little, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Bring it back to the forehead, rotate to center, inhale, rotate the other direction. Give your salute, come back, rotate forward and down. You doing all right?
I am.
All right, so she's gonna pull her, got one more variation. All right, when you're ready, hands at the forehead, inhale up to neutral. Good, rotate. Give me a little salute and lift up like you're trying to reach back to me. Good, come back to your neutral, rotate forward, oop, neutral. There you go, I gotcha. All right, rotate, salute, lift up. Good, back and down. All right, go ahead and carefully take your feet out of there. Now she had some tremor, particularly in her right leg. When you see tremors like that, that's cerebellar in nature. Basically, the brain can't figure out who's gonna do what job. All right, so when I see that, I wanna think, okay, I need to fill a sensory gap somewhere. She needs some information. So I would probably, and you may also have noticed, don't know if you could saw, but her feet kind of went up and down. She wasn't able to maintain. So not the best place for her. Here's where if you were really working on that exercise with Julie, you would take her probably down to the spine corrector or even feet on the floor or on the mat or on the thing, come back, lean forward, just working more on this diagonal coming up to the long line. Rotate, keep the hips against the barrel, salute, reach back, come back on, salute, rotate forward. And that's all you need to do. So much better for her to learn that movement. Obviously with the feet up like that, it's a much more advanced move. Okay? It's one of those, it's listed as an intermediate, but when they have to continually keep that pressure up into the ladder, I think that takes that a notch beyond, closer to an advanced level for most people. Then we have swan dive. One of my favorite places to do swan dive when I have someone who cannot be flat on their belly, or I can't get them flat, it's like way too much work, or they hate it. All right, or they just ate and they're like, yeah, no. All right, so again, we have that floor version. Hands are gonna come down, her hips will come forward, her arms will drape over. All right, I can keep her heels up against that wooden platform at the base of the ladder. On her inhale, she comes up into the long line. So she reaches up, good. And then exhale, continues to come back. So she's gonna lift her chest up into an extension, inhale to the long line, good. I'm gonna have her breathe here, let that air out. Inhale lifts up, usually an inhale helps with extension, exhale back down. However many one I wanted to do, and then she could come back down. Obviously I could advance that, having her hold something, having a visual target, holding dumbbells, holding a single heavy thing, right? So are you okay with your feet on the ladder?
I'll give it a try.
We'll give it a try. So the feet for the ladder version, balls of the feet are on the bottom rung. She steps up, she sets herself out, all right? And again, if you look at the thing, pelvis at the apex, right? So she looks, no, you're
Okay,
good,
good.
right? She's pretty much where she was. She starts draped over, so if nothing else, a nice stretch, right? She's gonna keep those legs straight. Let's give a little Pilates beat, so a little turnout. Can you get those heels together? There you go, good. So on her inhale, she comes up to the long line. It's a dart position. Elbows frame her biceps. Inhale, lift up a little bit more. She bends the knees and then comes back to neutral. So that's the variation then let's do that one more time. Inhale, she keeps up here. A lot of hamstring here. And then come back. But not a lot of change in the lumbar flexion, thoracic flexion. Go ahead and come down. So that's version 1. That's an alternative version. Here is what's described in your manual, right? But that first version, great if you need someone to find their hamstrings, because they'll find them. All right, so inhale, she comes up into that neutral. She's gonna lift up into that extension, but let her hips slide down the barrel. Bend the knees, and You can see the amount of extension she gets in her spine much greater. She's gonna push through her feet, come back out to that dart. Let's try that one more time. Bend the knees, slide down. Much more extension in the spine. Come back out and come back down. All right, so you can step off of there. So both versions are really good. If I had someone I needed to work on some slight extension, but I didn't want a lot of extension, the first version where the hips stay in place and they just use their hamstrings gets them into that, adds a little movement at the pelvis without adding too much extension. That might be too much for our client. All right, then we have swan dive. We're gonna walk around to the other end. You can use a box. I happen to have a moon box, which is a smaller box, right there for her to step up on. And here, I think I'm gonna move her back where she was. We were initially covering the 6. All right, her hips, once again, looking in your manual, the pubic symphysis is on the top. So now the pubic bone is right on the top because we're gonna move that pelvis. So go ahead, step forward, walk your hands onto that top rung. So this swan dive starts in a swan dive. So she's gonna come up all the way. Yep, her full swan dive, right? I think you need to scoot yourself a smidge forward, or I need to move you back a little bit. Come on off. I'm gonna move her back because I think even though her feet said cover the 6, I think proportion wise, cover the 7. Go ahead. So her legs are wide. Now, classical Pilates, the legs are together, but anyone with SI joint issue, it's easier to mobilize the pelvis if the legs are separate. All right, yes, and turned out. She's in her swan dive. So on her inhale, she lifts those thighs up, the elbows will bend, she keeps her eyes forward, look more forward, and then come back. Because one, I don't want her to hit the ladder. Inhale, lifts the legs, so the movement starts at the leg, and we were looking to keep this curve the same throughout the exercise. Very nice. Come back off of that. That's your swan dive, hands on ladder. I'm not gonna go, do you wanna try grasshopper? Sure. All right, so it's basically a progression of swan dive, or your rocking swan dive. So hop back on there, we're gonna see how she does. So she's forward, yeah, judgment-free zone, because all movement is good. She's wide open. I'm gonna have her lift her legs up, tip over, keep her eye gaze forward, bend at the knees to cross the ankles, stretch back out. Bend at the knees, recross, stretch out, bend at the knees, girl, you've got some handies, and out, and then comes back up. Or, conversely, tip over, a quicker knee, so bend at the knee, crisscross, then recross, and one more time, recross, and come back up. So you could do it a little more rapidly. Nice job. There. Prone, lower, and lift. We have a whole series of these in your manual. Lower and lift, leg circles. You won't have to do all these scissors, beats, all of that. So there's a long series, whatever you wanted to do. You could do heel squeeze prone, you can do whatever, single leg. So we're gonna once again place her on here. If you look at the starting position, ASS is slightly forward. So you're kind of in the center. Hands can be, you want a slight tip forward. So I'm gonna ask her to walk her hands down as low as they can without her head doing wonky things. All right? Yeah, I think they're
close.
Yeah, and you can add a slight elbow bend if that's more comfortable for you. But if I look at her here, this position put her into a little bit of lumbar flexion. So I am going to move her back, all right, a little bit. There you go, how's that feeling? Better. Yep, all right, so slight bend to the elbow, so you're almost tipped forward, all right? And now let's add a scissor. So 1 and 2, we're cueing, keep those hip bones as evenly weighted against there as possible. We could add little beats, tapping the heels together, small circles, I did say you wouldn't have to do them all. But as you can see, now we're adding, the circles are adding a little bit of challenge to stabilize the lumbar spine. And let's go lower the legs down and lift, right? So in this position, not really great based on how they're telling us to set it up. So let's scooch Julie back a little bit. So she's in a little bit of lumbar flexion, so keep scooching back.
Okay.
Like let the legs drape over and then let this come down, all right? Wherever it feels good, maybe your head's not that down. But legs are down,
Stretching.
legs are down, all right. Right, and now let's try, you're gonna try and keep the pressure at your ASIS the same. Try and keep whatever pressure you feel at your belly the same as you lift and lower both legs. So she's still got some lumbar movement, but she's getting more movement here. And I could even, if I move the barrel in a little bit more, we'd probably get even a little better. Or I could ask her just do a single leg, regress it slightly, working to keep the pressure the same at her ribs and at her hips. And that looks a little bit better for her. You will sometimes see people, you can go ahead and slide off. If you look in your picture on the book, the legs come way up. They have, the reason they talk about the ASIS way far forward is that they're almost on a downward slant. The legs start way up and then you have a little bit more movement, but harder to stabilize, okay? So, and I'm not gonna put her in that position because too much blood to her head at this point. All right, but know that that's there. If you have any specific questions about that or need to see a photo of that, text me, email me, I'll get it to you. All right, one arm press. Not the easiest thing to get into. We'll show it, we'll see how, we'll play around with it. So Julie, once again, you are lying on your side, facing the window there. So
Oh,
she can, you're
this way?
probably
Oh,
wanting to get
actually
on
here.
that way.
Okay.
So,
I see what we're doing now, I see
Yeah.
the picture.
yeah. So we are now one arm press. So she's got that. We need to walk her hand down to maybe that third rung, all right? So this is all about, do people fit in the space between the ladder and the barrel? And that's very hard to find. We're gonna cue those. Now if is the femur digging into your hip like
A little bit.
really crabby, bend the bottom knee and pull the thigh forward. And now roll forward onto the thigh a little bit. Better?
Better.
Okay. So
How could you
now,
tell? It's amazing.
so neat. All right, so I'm gonna ask her to bend her bottom elbow, trying not to hit her head. How low can you go? And then back up. Her challenge is to keep her leg there and not push it down into my hand as she bends. That's a little high. There you go, right there, keep it there, right? So it's just a little side bend. In a perfect world, I'd get her perfectly aligned, she'd have to, but it is really hard to get people, depending on the length of their torso and their arms, to get them to fit in this space. But this is the basic movement, she's doing a good job, she's not cranking on her neck, she's not lifting and lowering her leg. The things that need to be stable are staying stable, you can come off of that. Do I teach that one often? No. If I wanted something that, it's not necessarily bad exercise, I don't know that this is a great place to teach it because it's just hard to manage. On a spine corrector, that same move, much more easily accessible because now you've got room, you don't have this ladder in the way. Short box series, all right. They talk about the equipment setting, they say adjust the barrel for client's length, leg length. This all depends on if you're the kind of person who likes their legs straight or likes their legs bent for a short box move. Legs straight, little more classical position, but harder to mobilize the pelvis when the legs are straight. My preference, my bias is to a slight knee bend. I think it also helps people feel a little more secure. So Julie, come around to the other side. I'm gonna have her sit up on that barrel right on the tippy top to start. And then slide slightly forward. So her sit bones are in front of the apex as she's facing the ladder. Now, if she feels comfortable there, I can keep her there. If she's like, oh, I like to be, some people like to be squished and feel, I could move the barrel in and maybe put a little bit of padding here if she felt better. You could always add a brief pause here. I could put a pad of some sort to kind of wedge her feet in there to maybe make her feel a little more. We have one of those big neck pillows. Whatever you had, you could use. You could spot with your hands. Some people are like, no, they like pulling their feet up and hooking it on the top bar. That feels good to them. So it's going to be specific to your client. So starting with our round back, this is the same series we already know, love, and on the reformer. So again, mummy arms, genie arms, prayer hands, arms up, all the things, holding things, whatever you need. So I'm going to let you choose what you prefer. Genie arms. All right. So on her exhale, imprint, roll off the sit bones. Beginning level, we're just finding that C curve, rounding forward, and then stacking up. Are you okay to go back into extension? So,
My extension's not great.
now let's see what happens. The nice thing about the ladder barrel, when you're working on those further ranges, is it's giving them some support behind them versus the sharp edges of the box. So, inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, roll off your sit bones. Roll back as far as you feel comfortable going. You can reach those arms back if you want. Good, she's getting almost off. Ooh, nice job. Inhale, roll it all the way back up, rounding. Bring your hands back to those genie arms. Keep rounding forward. And inhale, stacks it up. So that's the full extension. You get nice support from the barrel, right? So, that's the full round back. And then we have our straight back, traditionally done with a pole. Could be a barrel, magic circle, it could be a ball, it could be dumbbells, or it could be nothing, all right? So the arms are about just below shoulder height. Feel like you're trying to snap that pole in two. Maintain neutral, inhale, hinge straight back. Right? And exhale back forward. So when we cue people to hinge back, we want to think about almost like maybe they get to that shaky point, come forward just a smidge to take the shake out. Because that shake is that cerebellar tremor that's like, the brain isn't organizing it. I need to give them, take them out of that. But let's say we wanted to challenge that. Maybe all I need to do, grab another prop here, is challenge her to come back. All right, now maintain the pressure against there and hinge back. Nope, now you're arching down. Yep, so can you come back a little more? Hold there without shaking. Yeah, pretty good. And come all the way back. Basically, she wasn't pushing hard into this pad. It was just there so she could sense it, and her brain's like, oh yeah, okay, I can do this, right? So we can add in our twist. Well, I'll go in the order your manual is. Twist, which is just, we know it, we love it. Oh, she has the pole, I'll have it. But in your manual, her arms are out straight. I'm trying to keep her hips square to the ladder. Inhale, rotate. Make sure you're out of your client's way. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. We're just working that watching that the shoulders stay over the hips. That sort of thing. We move on to twist with round back. So there's lots of versions of this, but I'm going to give you the textbook choreography. You can mix and match. It can be done as a straight back or a round back. We'll cue the round back. Arms out just below shoulder height. On the inhale, lift the bar up, biceps frame the face. Exhale, roll off the sit bones, find your C curve, bring your hands to shoulder height. Good. A little more C curve. Thank you. Inhale, rotate to one side, keeping the bar level. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate the other way, keeping the bar center. Exhale. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, round forward, reach the pole past the ladder. Inhale, breathe here, into the back and side of the rib cage. Exhale, stack it up, arms go back to shoulder height. And then we repeat it again. We'll do one more. Inhale, reach the arms up, biceps frame the face. Exhale, roll off the sit bones, find that C curve, arms come to shoulder height. Inhale, when she twists, bring your chest, your rib cage with you. Good, and center. Much better that time. Exhale, bring the chest with you, ribs with you, and center. Inhale, lifts the arms up. Exhale, rounds forward, reaching past the ladder. Take a breath in here to the back and side of the rib cage. Exhale, stack up, bringing the arms to shoulder height, and you would repeat. And again, we could do that in a flat back, reduce it if someone needed to avoid spinal flexion, keep it back, and limit the range of motion on the rotation. But what you'll need to watch for is that they bring the whole chest with them, because particularly when they hold, well, even when they're not holding front, they'll move the arms. So cue that whole chest to go. Lean. Oh, we're back to the pole. Okay, lean is a fancy flat back, right? And it's 4 parts. Inhale, bring the bar up to frame, biceps frame the cheekbones. Now she's got range of motion in her shoulder, but I'm gonna cue her to come back a little, because that actually puts a little less strain in her neck. All right, and this is more your range of your normal range of motion, biceps and cheekbones. Inhale, rotate, you pick the direction. Exhale, hinge out. So the first one, we're just gonna hinge. It's like the hip kind of lifts a little, like a fart escape. You're gonna come back up. She's still looking this way. Get the hips evenly weighted and then rotate back. All right? What people will do is often they don't bring those shoulders all the way up. Now, the next level, if you wouldn't mind going to the same direction, she's gonna try and pick up her whole hip. So she's rotating, and then when she leans, she's gonna take her hip and her shoulder at the same time. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, hip, shoulder, everything goes. Good, the knees will straighten out. Not too far, because we don't want to add side bend. Good. Since she's here, I'm gonna ask her to cast a spell. Come back, grab that, come up. I'll get the hip down, so hip and shoulder come down, same time, come forward. No, I didn't, come forward, get your shoulders back, and now come forward. Good, right? You see, she wanted to turn, everyone wants to turn too soon. You know, if they do, no one's gonna die. But again, for your test out, you need to know, and the reason that is just disassociating the different movements. Can we pull the pieces apart, right? Go ahead and relax those arms. Right. Tree, I'm gonna take this one. You good for tree?
It's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute, all right.
Hot tree recently. I just haven't done tree.
All right, so she's gonna bring one foot out from under her little wedge there, and she can have her hands right behind her knee. She could have her one hand against the ankle if you want to be pretty choreography like. So again, for these, it says hips kind of right on the apex of the barrel. I always like a little bit forward. It makes people feel a little safer, right? So on her inhale, she straightens her leg. Exhale, bends. Inhale, straightens. Exhale, bend. Inhale. We're gonna walk up the tree. She's gonna try and get that back as flat as she can. Nice big inhale. Exhale, walk her hands down, take that whole piece back with her. So her legs moving with her. She can go into just that C curve, or if she wanted to, she could go into full extension. You choose where you wanna go. Good. Exhale, curls up, walks up your tree, takes the whole piece back forward to where we started it. Bend the knee. Extend the knee. We'll do one more. Walk up, take that nice big inhale. Exhale, take that whole piece back. Watching that the hips stay level. Good. Aim your sit bone over here toward me. Like toward the barrel. There you go.
There we go.
Good. All right, now if she wanted to, she could let go of her leg and reach her arms back. Ooh. maybe
I
not.
love having this thing on here. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go to
okay.
the mess. Yes, thank you.
So there you go. Good to
Better.
see. And then right back up. And so you do want to kind of be close by people in case they have those little bobbles. Go ahead, bend the knee and place it down. So variations on the tree, and you could do all those other fancy versions from the reformer, the leg out to the side, the leg circles. It's all the same. You kind of get the idea. All right, seated, hands on ladder. Go ahead and hop off. I just want to point out, the first exercise in that series is scissors. It will tell you equipment setting, pull the barrel all the way in. Now, there are several other in that list, lower lift, hip twist, hip circles, all of that, but they never tell you in any of the other ones to pull the barrel all the way in. You're supposed to remember from the first one. So, reminder, pull the barrel all the way in. I'm gonna ask, there's a couple of ways you can get your client on here. First, I could have Julie step onto the little platformer, step in between, hands are on the ladder, she's gonna swing a leg up, swing the other leg up, and then she kind of scoots herself forward, the knees could bend, right? She could put her feet on the ladder and kind of scoot her butt forward. So I want her ischial to her sits bones kind of almost to the top of that barrel, like really on the top if I can. But you could say, I know you had a shoulder injury, right? So this is not her fave place to be. So this is about as close as I'm gonna get her. I know she's strong, but I'm gonna watch that she doesn't slip, all right? Chest is lifted up, light grip here. No, yeah.
This way?
That better? Yeah, all right, so she's gonna try and maintain a neutral here, bring both knees up into tabletop. Good, you feel safe in that balanced position. So let's maybe start her here with toe taps. Just make sure she's good. She's not gonna slide. I'm spotting here. Good. Now let's try straight legs out, little scissor. One low, one high, little pulse, pulse it.
Oh.
So pause, pulse, pulse, pulse. Good. And I'm watching that she's not doing a lot of sashaying in her hips. Good. Go ahead and bend those knees. Now I can cue her to come forward and step her off. All right? Some people like to get up this way, like up here, but it is a blind entry back. So most people prefer the way I showed you. You know, maybe you're divers or somebody, you're like, yeah, I'll hop up there, you know. You're a young kid, you're a young punk. All right. So the challenge on that series is the stability in the shoulder and getting them into a good place. Let's say you're doing your practical exam and your person has a shoulder injury, or the physics of it, they don't fit this barrel. Like if their hands are touching their butts back here, you're gonna do it on the spine corrector, all right? You're gonna figure out a way. Was that you that did that? Somebody in my test out here, their person could not get in, so they're like, they put them on the spine corrector and did it. It said where her hands are would be the barrel if she was on a ladder barrel, okay? So you can adapt, right? Because those particularly aren't fun for a lot of people. Now, horseback, giddy up. All right, so again, I got a box there for her to step up on. She's gonna
face.
Yep, she's gonna face the mirror. You could have them come up depending either side, right? So horseback starts in neutral. Knees are bent, feet are dorsiflexed. Elbows are back, palms are up, pinkies level with your hips. So it's basically your serve-a-tray arms here. So on the exhale, imprint. Lift up, reach your arms forward, reach your legs forward, point those feet, try and get a little daylight, tuck that tailbone under, nice, and then inhale, return, okay? So posting, this is the prep. Try, and you good? We're gonna try the full one next, which is an arm circle. So exhale, imprint, reach forward, point those toes, stretch, reach the arms up, and circle around, reach them forward, and return to start. Good. So she's working on keeping that pelvic position. So that's horseback. Note, I like this one a lot as a spot check exercise. All right. Flat back and extended.
We'll give it a try.
We'll give it a try, because I can do them. All right. So, scissors and flat back. Here I'm going to move that back out. We're going to go 6 seem to be pretty good. So I'm going to make sure I can see the 6. All right. So here, this next section, we're back to the same things. Scissors. Now we have bicycle layout in. You can do bicycle on the other. Lower and lift. Leg circles. Corkscrew. All these are a place that you can maybe do some inversion-like things. Your rollover, your corkscrew, your jackknife, right? In a more challenged, less stable position. So to get on, I'm gonna have her step on that little moon box and turn around, sit on here. Just not too far forward though. Kind of feet are on the box still. And then she's doing a back bend over this, reaching back and finding.
My feet came off, is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, they're gonna have to.
Okay, so normally I have the long box, but true confessions here, the long boxes that we have in this room are holding up the computer that's filming this, so. All right, so I'm gonna support her head here. So the flat back version, go ahead, bring your knees into tabletop. Her low back is supported by the barrel. I'm giving her some support for her head. She could move her hands maybe down one rung. There you go. Elbows come in. All right, legs come up. And let's do a little scissor reach. One little pulse, pulse. Inhale, switch, pulse, pulse. I'm watching that she's able to maintain contact against the barrel with her spine. Good, bend the knees in. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now I'm gonna ask her to walk her hands down more. Let this come down. Let her shoulders be supported. You can maybe slide a little closer to the barrel. Wiggle, wiggles. All right, and now let's try legs straight up to the ceiling and circle. Inhale, open, exhale, around. Again, she's working to maintain contact of her spine, her butt, her shoulders against that. Really push into that ladder. Yeah, there you go, shoulders stabilized. Excellent. And then I'm gonna have her bend her knees, walk her hands back up, give her a little support for her neck so that she can step off. And usually the bigger box is a little nicer than what we're just seeing there. All right, so those are all kind of the series. I think we talked about it all. And then we have handstand, but don't worry about that. We're not gonna do handstand, okay? So if you have any particular questions about ladder barrel, shoot me an email. I'm happy to review it with you. I think that's all we got. Since I didn't get any questions beforehand, email them if I created questions for you.